Hey guys, what is up? It is No Help and welcome back to another video today. So I've got this video right here. I'll leave a link down in the description below, and it's called Chambers of Xeric Drop Rates Suck and How to Fix Them. So this guy thinks he can fix the Chambers of Xeric drop rates. I've been complaining about this for a very long time. So let's hop right into the video and see what he can do.
Chambers drop rates suck. That's a fact.
Yep.
But I think I know how to fix it. I ran over 100,000 simulations and found that you need to run, on average, 1,800 solo chambers in order to get all 12 unique items.
1,800 solo chambers to get all of the uniques. Even if you're running at half an hour per raid, which to do that like consistently, you're gonna need really good gear and knowledge, and to be like completely efficient, that's almost 1,000 hours.
Now, that's over 600 hours of efficient solo chambers.
Over.
But remember, a bunch of people still would need to do way higher than that because they go unlucky. In fact,
yeah, and that's if you hit drop rate, right?
1 in 10 people will be unlucky enough to have to do over 1,000 hours of solo chambers, efficient solo chambers, just to get all 12 of those uniques. Does that sound fun to you?
For me, prepping and stuff, it's between 30 minutes and 45 minutes, depending on how lazy I am, so could be even longer.
Before I jump into this video, I just want to say I've been wanting to make this one for a long time. This has been in my notepad. The reason why Chambers feels the worst in terms of drop rates from all of the raids is because there are 12 uniques on the drop table. TOA has 8, TOB.
The problem is there's the 12 uniques, right? And then the scrolls have such a high weighting that you pretty much get them most of the time. So if they just decrease the weighting of the scrolls, maybe it wouldn't be as bad, but like you don't get a purple really often. Whenever you do, it's like 40-50% chance, something like that, for a scroll.
He has 7, meanwhile Chambers has 12. The other aspect to this is every single raid other than Chambers has 1 mega rare. You have the Shadow from TOA, you have the Scythe from TOB, but Chambers has 3 mega rares on its drop table.
I never even really thought about it like that. That's very true, because I only consider the Twisted Bow as a mega rare, but they also have the Kodai and the Elder Ball. It's a mega rare too, so you have to hit the mega rare and then hopefully land that Twisted Bow, unlike the other raids.
Which means you're going for the Kodai, you're going for the Elder Maul, and the elusive Twisted Bow, all at the same hard drop rate. The second reason why Chambers drops feel so bad is because the most common items, the Prayer Scrolls, Arcane, and Dex, are such high drop rates, meaning they have a drop weighting of 20 each of them out of 69.
Okay.
So a total of 40 out of 69. So over 50% of the time that you get a purple at Chambers, 58%.
It's over 50%. Okay, yeah. What did he say?
To be exact, it's going to be a shitty Prayer Scroll.
Yeah, so pretty much every time you get a purple, it's gonna be a prayer scroll. So it's almost like there's nothing to even really look forward to. Whenever you get a purple, it's like, you know what I mean? It's almost always not gonna be worth too much. I mean, the Dex has gone up a little bit, but at the end of the day, if you play an Ironman or something, it's not much to look forward to.
My third reason is that given the fact you have to get 12 unique items, I think the purple rates at Chambers are way too uncommon.
Oh, yeah.
You can argue that the drop rates are roughly the same as a 300 TOA because in Chambers, you're supposed to get a purple in your name roughly every 870,000 points. A solo is around 33k points. Math comes out to like 26, 27 raids, you should see a purple. In TOA, same thing. It's about, if you do 300s, that's approximately the rate that you'll see a purple. But the difference is at TOA, you're going for 7 items. At Chambers, you're going for 12, 3 mega rares. So I think it's a mix of all these compounding facts. There's the fact that there's 12 items to get, way more than any other raid. The scrolls.
He said 7 was the other one, so 12. It's almost double the amount you need from Chambers. And most of the time when you do land that purple, which, as explained, takes a very long time, 800 something thousand points, and you only get like 30k per raid. So it takes a very long time. Sometimes you won't see a purple for days, especially if you're grinding like 10 plus hours a day. Sometimes it takes a couple of days to even see a purple, and then you get a prayer scroll, right? Because it's over a 50% chance to land it. It's just kind of depressing.
Common item here are just weighted way too high, and the fact that you see that these purple rates are just uncommon. Makes chambers, all comes together and makes chambers just like a really not fun time if you're hunting all of the items. Now,
Yeah.
all the
It's
items
off-putting.
in chambers are pretty useful. I wouldn't. There's maybe like one or two which may be less useful than the others, but in general, full ancestral is best in slot in most places. All three of the mega rares.
Yeah, he obviously makes a good point too. It's some of these items are almost like you need them for your account. You do need the 2 prayer scrolls for augury and rigor, so that's essential, especially if you're an Ironman account. You need those. Dragon claws are a really good special weapon. I mean, they have burning claws now, right? But I mean, dragon claws are better. We've got the Elder Maul, which is a better version of the dragon warhammer. The Kodai, I believe, is best in slot for bursting. I could be wrong, but I think it's best in slot for bursting. Twisted Bow is one of the best weapons in the entire game. Ancestral's best in slot magic gear, I believe, right now, right? So like, and then there's the couple other ones, like we got like the shield and stuff like that. But most of the items are extremely useful, and you need them for your account, and you're locked by thousands of hours of a grind.
Now that I'm done yapping on full cam, I wanted to show you the results of the 100,000 Monte Carlo simulations that I ran to predict how many raids it would take, how many hours it would take to get all 12 uniques. And I'll just throw in on the left, this is the weighting table according to the wiki of each of the items, all 12 items. And
yeah, look at it like right here. This is the weighting, obviously, right? So most of the time you get an arcane and a dex, right? So 20 and 20, that's 40. It's over half the time of getting that, right? I've landed the ancestral bottoms twice, so that's a 3, so pretty damn rare. I've also gotten the buckler and the bulwark. We've got the dragon hunter crossbow too, right? I haven't got claws, and I've never landed on the mega rare table, which is only a 2 weighting. Even if these went down to 10, you would see significantly more of the other ones.
The math we talked about earlier, 870,000 points to get a purple.
So 26 raids.
Assuming roughly 33,000 points per raid, based off a...
he also has like, assuming it's 20 minutes per raid. I mean, you can easily get that if you know exactly what you're doing, have the best gear in the game, and are like completely sweaty and efficient. But realistically, it's going to take people at least half an hour, I would say, like on average, especially if you're doing it for hours at a time.
Typical solo unscaled raid, meaning 26-ish raids per purple. And after running these simulations, I want to point out, this is the graph that came from it, and I want to point out a few things. This is a graph of the probability of finishing all 12 items versus the number of purples that you get. So I have this little number called out over here at 50%, which means that for 50% of people, at 70, up to 70 purples is when they will finish chambers and get all 12 items.
70 purples it takes, or 50% of people will complete the chambers of Xeric at 70 purples. So we've got 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. We're not even halfway to 70, and I've been doing this for like almost close to 2 years.
Now remember, that's 70 purples. That's not 70 raids. 70 purples, I equated all the way on the side over here. On the expected number of raids to hit 70 purples.
Okay, this is crazy. So what was I at? 670 raids? To hit the 50% mark, where 50% of people complete it, that's 1,840 raids. Which he has it estimated at 600 hours. It's definitely more than that, especially if you're going at the speed I am. So 1,800 raids, there's a 50% chance I will complete the whole log. That's depressing.
Is 1,840. Assuming that a solo takes you 20 minutes a raid, which is, I think, pretty efficient, that is over 600 hours. Now,
a lot more than
I just
that.
want to point out in terms of time, at the master tier of combat achievements is 21 minutes for a chambers, for solo unscaled chambers. I think GM is definitely faster than that, but still, this is assuming like only irons are doing these this many solo chambers without a T-bow or without end game gear, because they're hunting that T-bow from this specific raid, right? So honestly, I would say most.
Yeah, he obviously makes a really good point too. Like, yeah, maxed mains with the best gear in the game and all the knowledge could probably get 20 minutes all the time, maybe even 25 minutes easily all the time. But if you're an Ironman going for a twisted bow, you obviously don't have the best gear in the game. So hitting 20 minutes would be extremely hard. And like he pointed out, that's the master combat achievement. So doing that consistently would be hard anyways.
At the time, it'd probably be more than 20 minutes a raid. Additionally, you have to take into account you're probably taking breaks and stuff in between. This is like 600 efficient hours, you know? And
yeah.
think about how many real hours that might be. Like 600 might turn into 7, 8, 900 hours.
Easily. I'd say over 1,000.
And the reason I want to call out 70 purples is because that is a 50% mark.
Yeah.
That means 50% of people are going to finish before that. But on the other flip side, 50% of people are going to take more than 70 purples, so it's going to take them more than 600 hours.
That's so depressing.
The second one I wanted to call out was this one over here at 90%, meaning 90% of people, or flip side, 1 in 10 people will not finish all 12 items by 123 purples. That falls roughly around here, about like 3,000.
Dude, that's fucking crazy. So pretty much a 1 in 10 chance you won't have completed the log, otherwise known as getting a twisted bow, right? Before 123 purples, which expected raids is almost 3,300. And there's still a chance you wouldn't have completed the raid, and he has it estimated at about 1,100 hours. Definitely going to be a lot more than that for somebody like me or somebody who doesn't have the best gear in the game. Yeah, I think Jagex definitely has to do something. This is insane. I think lowering the weighting of the decks in the arcane could help. Or even like upping the weighting of other things, but it's just one of those things, or even adding something like dry protection.
Now, these words are going to trigger a lot of folks. Duplicate protection.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know everyone, there's very mixed feelings about this. I know some people who are very, very against it. Some people who are like, oh, it's kind of nice. But I think a tweaked version for Chambers of Xeric would do wonders for the drop rates. Now, my proposal is that let's take each of these items, all 12 of these items, and condense them into 4 tables. So, for example, I've sort of colored them here if you can see it. Sorry if you're colorblind. I don't think the colors are very friendly, but I'll say it out loud. The Arcane Index will be combined into a Prayer Scrolls table. There will also be a Weapons table, which contains the DHCB, the Buckler, the Bulwark.
Okay, so I kind of see what he's doing right here, right? So he's combining all of them into the one, so it's still going to be like a really high chance to get a scroll or a weapon or an arcane. So, right, each table will have a dupe protection. So if you hit the mega table 3 times, you're guaranteed to receive one of each. So every time you hit the mega table, so say, for example, the first one you get is the Elder Maul. Maybe the second time you hit the mega table, you get the Kodai. That means the third time you hit the mega table, you will get a twisted bow. So it's kind of dry protection, but it's kind of not. So it's giving a lot higher of a weighting. 6 is a lot higher of a weighting than 2, right? Like I've said, I've hit the Ancestral Bottoms, which is a 3 weighting, right? So if that was a 6, I probably would have hit it by now, right? At least once or twice, which would be really nice. So you can actually kind of almost see progress, right? And you know the next time you hit that mega table, you could get yourself something like the Twisted Bow. Would this affect the prices? Obviously it would. It's not like the perfect solution, but it's definitely interesting.
I plotted both the previous one and the new one below. You see that this, obviously this chart looks a little shifted to the left. And I'll call out the numbers here, very similar to how we did in the graph prior. That 50% mark of requiring, I guess let's take a step back. The number of purples it will take on average for 50% of people to finish is 36. Previously, it was 70 in the...
Yeah, so like kind of with his changes, right? Obviously, it's not perfect, and who knows if they will ever even make changes. I think they like to have something like the Twisted Bow just be extremely prestigious and stuff like that. But I mean, it's a little insane, you know? I mean, they don't... If I was the people at the company, I wouldn't want somebody like me doing the same content for 3 years. They're eventually going to burn out and move on to other things, right? If I finished it in, say, half the time, right, I could move on to other content, get better at the game, I don't know. It's just one of those things, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, it is, you can't really control it. But I do like what this guy is doing, right? It's one of those things, right? So 36 instead of 70. That's pretty much a half, right? And then the 90% would be 61 instead of 123. With this dry protection, it's not full dry protection, but it's just so that you won't be screwed over and over again, and you have a higher chance of actually landing on that mega table.
Current method of how Chambers is done. So 36 purples versus 70, that's half. And
yeah,
that falls right between 30, 40. I'm going to say like that's going to be about like 900-ish rates, expected rates to finish Chambers. I think that is a solid spot to be. 900 solo Chambers. It'll take around 300 something hours to finish Chambers. I think that's pretty good. Once again, Jagex can tune these numbers, but just as a very quick,
it's still a lot of time at the end of the day, right? So it's not like completely getting rid of the prestige. I'm not sure what they would do about main accounts, right? Because then you could like guarantee always getting a twisted bow. But I don't know how they would work this into it, but it's better than spending 4,000 or 5,000 hours on something, or just feeling like you're never gonna get the item. It's like going for a 99. You know, you can slowly see the progression, and with this dry protection, almost you can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, you know, it will happen at least, rather than just like, I always say, like, I'm no closer to getting a twisted bow than when I started 2 years ago, because at the end of the day, it's just going to happen randomly, and there's no progression with it, right? Like, oh, I got another kill. It doesn't really mean anything, right? But with this, you could slowly kind of see yourself getting it, at least. I was just watching a little bit ahead. He makes a great point
how
here.
Does this affect alting? If, you know, I am basing all of my calculations off solo Chambers, but what if this makes scaled alted raids insanely broken? Like,
yeah,
I know there's a lot.
It's obviously not like a permanent fix, right? And like he said, like with alting or even just a bunch, even if it's not soloing, it's different, right? They'd have to have a solution that works, but they definitely have to do something, because it's a little out of hand. There's a reason nobody really even likes this raid. People love doing Theater of Blood. People love the Tombs of Amasket, but whenever you talk about the Chambers of Xeric, you've got the people who really like it, right? But then most of it is just like, it's a grind. Nobody really wants to do it. It's the agility of the raids, if that makes any sense.
A lot of thought that goes into it. I know, you know, it's not easy to just make a quick fix like that, but
no.
And I'm sure many others on the subreddit, on players in general, willing to sort of provide solutions, or like, hey, consider doing this, consider doing this. So please do something. That's all I ask. This raid has been out for a long time. You've made QOL changes to make the raid itself better, but
yeah, I completely agree with him. Jagex, do something, please. At least just change the weighting of the Arcane Index. If that's all you can do, just do something to make it a little bit better. So you can actually see the light at the end of the tunnel, and maybe one day I will get the twisted bow, you know what I mean? But yeah, anyways, I will leave this guy's video down in the description. I kind of skipped through it, but yeah, most of the video, or all the videos, really good. But yeah, check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you in the next video. See ya later.